Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome to the Clarity Hotline. Let's get Instagram on. First, I have to see how far can I bring this thing. Probably like that, right? Oh, that's still in there. Okay. How's that? Well, we're gonna have to figure something else out here, guys, because this kind of doesn't work anymore. At least not how I want it. So we're gonna have to figure that out. Let me get more in the middle, which means I have to then put this over here. It's a little bit better light, so maybe we stick with that. Welcome, welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on. All right, let's see. Let's bring Instagram on. Do I like it here or do we like it here? Which one, guys? Oh, there. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Welcome, welcome to the Clarity Hotline, Clutter-Free Family. I'm on Instagram and YouTube. Let's talk. I was going to say trash, but actually, let's talk trash, the head trash in your head, in your thoughts. We're going to clear it all away so that you get some clarity. Um, we've got some questions that we're going to answer today, as many as we can. I really want to focus on one in particular because it's one that comes up, and it just came up in a call recently with a prospective client. So I just had a call, and this was kind of some of the concern. And I thought, you know what, let's tackle this together. And yeah, let's ground first before I reveal all. And then hold on, gotta get my notes so that I don't have to keep messing with this laptop. Um, today's live notes. Okay. And I do want to just give a quick little update. So I'm feeling very stretched right now in a good way. Just signed up with a coach, a business coach, and feeling very supported. You really do have to. It took me a while to find one that I really was like, okay, I resonate. There's definitely an opportunity here to get into the energy of this particular mentor and learn what she knows and bounce my ideas off of her, that kind of thing. So I'm very excited. I feel very stretched because the reality is you when you find the right coach. I'm a business coach. I'm a business and mindset coach. And I personally, the coach kind of knows that you're not a fit, and so does the prospective client. You know if you're a fit or not. And so you really want to trust your gut. And one thing that this mentor of mine said was, you've got to be in the state of there is no plan B. And so if you resonate with a coach and you're like, this is my coach, I got to find a way to pay for her program or their program, his program, and you're just like, I'm going to do it because I know I can get something from this exchange. I can see the results. Like you kind of already get fired up around the promise, right, that it offers. And so this is kind of why I chose my mentor. But it's a big stretch, one, financially, and two, just energetically and physically and mentally, uh, and emotionally too. You kind of when you get a coach, whatever that coach is, it could be for fitness, for health, it could be for business, it could be for school, studying, tutor, like that kind of thing. You are you're kind of pulled out of your shell, and so emotionally you are kind of letting things go, so you're shedding some things, maybe some old patterns, some old behavior, and all in an effort to kind of adopt this new direction that you're going. The reason why you got the why you went in on the mentor, right, why you sought out the guidance and the coaching, the mentorship. I think there's already kind of a fire in your belly when you find the right one and you're ready to go. So trust that. I really do believe that you should trust that. Uh, anyway, I was going to tell you what she told me. So She said, there's kind of an energy that you go about things that you're really serious about and passionate about. And you're like, nothing, there's no plan B. There's just this plan A. And she said, when you find that and you're ready for it, it's not, I'll buy this when the money comes. I want to buy this now, money come. And I thought that was really powerful and profound because you're claiming something and you're putting out the demand and expecting the return. You're expecting the supply, the provision be laid out in front of you because God has you, right? Has your back. Like whatever you want, I'll give you the desires of your heart. When you are emotionally tapped into something, that you have to be engaged with your heart, right? That's the embodiment part of a thought. You start to feel it in your heart. You've bought in. And so your gut works with your heart. It's kind of like it's kind of triggering the movement that the heart kind of wants. It's kind of nudging you in the direction, right? That's why it feels like a knot, like it's pointing in a direction. It's telling you something, right? And that's kind of that body. And then you got the mind, right? So outside of the body, we've got this mental awareness, this self with a capital S that is kind of doing the orchestrating and the choreography of your life. It's the soundtrack. It's the soundtrack of your life, but so is the body. So the body, and so they might, you might feel the head compete with the soul, which is mind and body, the soul, who you are here, your tool for this lifetime to make it through. That's the soul's purpose. And, this is your experiment in life. And this is how you go about it is up to you. And that's the point. And as far as creating your own destiny or things being destined, I think that what that means is you shot a rocket of desire towards something, right? You said to God, the universe, the divine, that I want this, and I'm putting it out there and I'm saying, I want that. And no other way will feel as fulfilling as that. And so of course God is like, yes, I'll give you the desires of your heart. That sounds amazing for you, right? You want to do that? Do it. See what happens and then make another decision. And that's the point, is to experiment and experience this life fully, wholly. And so there's so much that goes beyond that, right? Or behind that, rather. So you're emotionally invested. You take on this coach, you feel that fire in your belly, you're going forward in the direction of your dreams. And I think with a coach, you do tend to level up. If it's a good coach, you actually do. You actually do level up. But it is kind of this teacher-student relationship, this symbiosis that you want to acknowledge, right? Okay, now we can ground. Now let's ground. Let's get present. I got off my little soapbox and we got a few questions in. Okay, so inhale and exhale. You can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth if you're really just trying to expedite the calm. And then in through the nose, out through the nose if you are ready to you're tapping in. You feel calm, you're practiced, you're well practiced in the state of mindfulness that I'm already here and I'm present, just like that. But I like that out breath through the mouth when it's just like, oh, I'm just coming from something really maybe stressful or anxiety inducing. And I'm like, okay, now I'm on the clarity hotline. Hi guys. All right. So come into this moment, this space with me, be present, be here. And let's get into some questions. And I'm taking live questions too. So if you're on live, please feel free to engage and all that stuff. Thanks for coming on. Okay, so the question is, how do you know if your kids should be homeschooled? How do you know if your kids should be homeschooled? There's also a question, why do we hustle? Okay. And I am going to ultimately be answering the question, I think, in all of those, because you know how I like to weave in a through line. We're also going to talk about why mom businesses don't make any money. What is in the way? So, I personally, I can probably get through the homeschool question pretty quickly, but if you have questions, let me know, and then we'll get into that mom question, the mom FAQ, if you will. So, how do you know if your kid should be homeschooled? And this was a question that I asked myself when I was taking my son out of kinder and bringing him home to be homeschooled. I think the circumstances were such that I was moving from the city where we lived to a new city. And so I knew I couldn't just enroll him in a school. So I was pulling him out of a school I knew I didn't want him in anymore. I didn't necessarily have a better option to move him into. And so I kind of felt like, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, I found out that homeschooling was an option. As late in the game as that was, as March was, I think in February I applied though, for a late enrollment. So late February was when I applied, and then in March we were accepted, and I made that transition, or we made that transition, and so he's been homeschooled through March all the way to today, for his kinder year, and I think it's working. It's a lot on me. Um, and that's just because I'm learning something new, and we're learning something new together. It's a lot on me, on my patience. I'm definitely growing in patience and being with his learning to read, his learning math, and all the things that I don't necessarily feel well equipped to teach him. Um, you find how quickly you can do it, right? Because you just work with him. And the thing is I wanted to see how he works through problems so that we could so that I could help guide him. So if he's working through something that he's struggling with, I want to help him. There's your opportunity right there, moms and dads, to be with your child as they struggle, and first experience what their struggle feels and looks like. See if they can talk themselves through it, and this is where their own self-talk starts to kick in, and you start to just kind of be facilitator, making sure that they are trusting themselves, that they are willing to take risks, make mistakes, because they know in your presence they're safe. And that safety really does extend into the outside world, right? That safety that you help foster in these precious little years. I'm talking to moms and dads who have kids under 7 years old. These littles still need us so much that, this was one area, schooling, where I thought that he could use me. He could use his mother. And I see evidence of that being a wise choice every day. Every day he's home, every day we work through something, every day that I'm challenged with my patience. And I love this kid. Okay. I love him with all my heart and soul. And even it tests my patience. So I definitely want to master the skill of kind of being with him, working with him. It's a lot because what runs through my mind is this going to work? Is it going to work? Am I going to do enough? Am I doing enough? Am I a good enough teacher for him? And all the doubts start to run in my head, as things are taking a lot longer than I thought they would at this point. And I know it's because one, he's still young. He's still 5. He is still learning. He's also wrestling with his own mind and its wild desires to just, I want to run right now. I don't want to be here. I want to snack. I want to move my body. I have competing thoughts for what you're telling me right now. And so I can't keep things straight. I'm losing track. I know I just read this word, but what is it again? I don't know. Those are all legitimate concerns and worries and, uh, obstacles, distractions that move in the way of a young child learning something who doesn't necessarily want to be learning something right now or learning this subject, right? And so that's a challenge for any kid. It's a challenge for adults. When you don't want to learn something, man, how easy is it for you to check out because you've got the wherewithal and you've got the maturity to, and maybe you've got the worldliness to know your options beyond the one in front of you right now. And that's why people quit, right? That's why people quit jobs all the time because they're like, I could do better. Quit marriages, like I can do better. I'll by myself. Whatever it is they're telling them, that's been the refrain that's been kind of ruminating. And so, at some point you're like, I quit. I quit this job. I have plans. I see a vision for myself, not in this company, not working under you or whatever. And whatever is the reason, right? That you're ready and willing to walk out on that, steady paycheck, and then take a risk like traveling abroad or taking a gap year or resting, getting well, tending to your health, or starting a business. Like, I'm going to quit this, I'm going to start a business. And I think a lot of times when we're moving from, you know, a career, so we're moving from being very career driven, ambitious individuals, and we're transitioning into now becoming a parent. And I'll speak to my moms out there because this really rings home. This rings true. And I know that I'm not alone in these feelings because I hear us talking about it all the time. And so it's like that transition from career driven person to now a mom, the transition is startling. And it definitely takes a toll on your business. If you say it doesn't, I'm really concerned. I'm really concerned for either thing, your business or your baby. Um, so it takes a toll. It takes you pulling away from what you've done before and now doing something different, like caring for this human child who needs you 24/7, really honestly needs you 24/7. And even in your sleep, you're planning, anticipating, preparing for what might happen next, or even the worst case scenario, right? How many of us are just kind of lying awake at night for like the worst fear? And we're just, woken out of a deep sleep, making sure baby's okay, still breathing. Okay, good. We're good. We're good. Thank you. 24/7. If you don't think that takes a toll and may alter and shift your business, you are sadly mistaken. The biology of your maternal body, postpartum especially, is to imprint on that baby. And you are being called to it. Their heartbeat needs your heartbeat to sync its own. They need to watch you soothe them so that they know what it feels like to be soothed. They need to know that it's possible to be soothed, to be loved, to be cared for, to be given a life and a freedom that is, wow, unbounded. And you teach them that. And the minute we start putting on the chains and attaching them to our mentality, our philosophy, our home, then things, start to shift for them and their childhood emerges. And if you are that mom that wants to be really present with your babies, but also very ambitious and career driven, and you want this business to work because it is also your baby, then okay, I got to find out how to make this work. How do I juggle this? Very, very, good question. Once I found myself in the struggle of the juggle, I was like, no more, not going to happen. I read all the books. And if you know anything about me, I'm ravenous about reading. I read all the time, especially audiobooks when I had two little babes. I was constantly in audiobooks. I think I prefer audiobooks at this point in my life since being a mother than obviously a tangible book. I do love a tangible book, though. I love a book to hold. I was reading a lot of that about the maternity phase. So being in maternity, I was reading a lot about just delivery and birth and, hypnobirthing and all that stuff. So that was very much that book. And then once I became a mom, it was all about the audiobook. I do like a podcast for sure. I'm probably on YouTube watching podcasts though, instead of just listening to them on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever, Spotify. And so I think there at any point in time, it's okay to have a different way that you take in information. But here's what let me throw this out there just so we're all aware of where I stand on that. Even though sometimes when you take that walk and you usually listen to a podcast, sometimes that walk needs to be in silence because sometimes what your body needs is less information and more execution. And what happens in the pause, in the silence, in the calming of your brain, all the ideas, the $1,000,000 ideas really do start to boop, 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 boop. And you can start to just dictate those things, like all the ideas that you have. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And this is business building. I think why moms don't make a lot of money, or mom businesses don't make a lot of money, or at least make a profit. I think a lot of businesses are eating more of the revenue than you want, and so it's either you're buying inventory, and so that's where your money going. You're investing into the business, absolutely, but that investment should come from profit. I This is me, okay? Expenses all need to get covered, and then you still want disposable revenue to do what you want. Pay yourself if that's the time in your business. I think there's a time and a place to pay yourself, and not initially. So to pay yourself a salary, to invest back in the business. Um, and it depends on how you invest back in the business, because marketing is its own budget under expenses. So you probably can write off your courses that you take, or books that you read about business building and that kind of thing. Whatever's applicable. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer. Whatever. This is not advice. So all that, right? you when you when you're taking where am I going? Because I did want to make sure that that also, let's take a quiet walk, okay, for those ideas. But I was tying this back to um, how you let yourself have that pause, have that silence, and go within. I don't think us mothers are allowing ourselves enough time within. I think we are pulled into the external world so much, because depending on your home life and how supported you feel and just being mother and just being with your baby, you might get pulled into laundry and dishes and meal prep and meal cooking and all that stuff, and meal planning, lunch tomorrow, packing it up, putting it in there, just making sure dots, I's, T's, all on the papers are good, homework's good. And this is, that's well into, toddlerhood and beyond, if you're in that academic of a school. But those kinds of things, or if you're, sending them off with lunch, and that just adds to the load. And then, if they're homeschooled, that adds to the load, because then you're now kind of driving curriculum and driving lessons, things like that. And so all of that is eating into the time to, one, be silent, be still, and to maybe start to work on the most important thing your business needs from you right now. So that's important, right? Because once you go back to work, let's say that we're in that transition from mom to entrepreneur, you're ready to get some work done. All you have is 20 minutes. You don't have a lot of time. What do you do? I can tell you right now that it probably, well, depending on your business, but if this is all you have all day this time right now, do CEO level work. Okay. The most important thing your business needs to drive it forward, to move the needle, that is what you should focus on. If responding to email is because you have clients replying to something you sent them, and you need to follow up before your next call, then check email. If it is something that you ask your prospective clients, and potentially a question about the program or course is in email, and so you need to kind of tend to some prospective client emails and questions so that you could make a sale. All of that is productive, right? There is productive and unproductive when it comes to business. And we are so in the hustle, moms, that we easily get burned out, because our bandwidth has been gobbled up by baby. And slowly but surely we get time back. How much time you get back, though, is up to you. And why it's up to you is because you put the structure and the systems in place in your day, whether you know it or not, whether you think you do or you don't, you do. This, you put the structure and the systems in place. You ask for the support. You do the finagling of whatever needs to get done so that you can get the support to take a longer nap, to feed yourself and sit down and have the meal, to completely just take a bath and tune everybody out. Something reliable is taking something, or someone is, well, someone reliable is caring for your kid, and so you can rest easy, and take that deep exhale, right? um, all of that needs to kind of be in place. What happens is moms miss the opportunity to build structure because they're flying by the seat of their pants. Whatever happens there, it's an emergency, and they're running to and from each kid or husband, partner, spouse, to career, to boss. And so it's like, you're all every which way. That feels kind of manic. And sometimes it's like, I just want to be with baby. I don't want to go back to work. And so I want to become an entrepreneur. And so you get all these creative juices around what you could be doing and how you could be helping humanity. And you want to start your own business. Okay, great. So that's all good. That is one path. And then there's the kind of like, how do I juggle my job, my career with my baby, right? And these 3 months that, one, you have off in America, 3 months maternity leave, for most jobs, and 3 months I get to just be with baby. I mean, that would be the point. That would be ideal. We quickly have to get back to our responsibilities, as most of us know. And if nobody else is there to handle that, then it's up to us. And, or if we want it done right, we have to do it ourselves. Yeah. Those kinds of thoughts in your mindset are keeping you from the freedom to be mother and entrepreneur, to go back to business, toggle back and forth from mom to entrepreneur, entrepreneur to mom. And if you are getting to work for those 20 minutes, what do you do? That is clarity, to know what you need in that time, in those few free minutes that you have for business. You need to know what's going to actually drive the needle and move the needle. And right now with my coach, I know what it is. I know what it is. And now I feel, I guess, positioned, or at least like propped up in the right way to like, okay, I'm going to see this differently. I'm going to move forward and do this thing that I've been bottlenecking for a long time. And but not in any judgmental way. I'm not judging myself for bottlenecking something. I just know that the things that I wanted done in my business weren't necessarily getting done. And it was just because it's a matter of time when I could maybe, I had awareness around it. I had awareness. In fact, I was kind of planning, okay, when I get an extra, instead of 20 minutes, I get 40, then I'm going to, do X, Y, Z. And as you start to build your systems and your structure, think about what beautiful thing happens. You start to make space in your day for other things. So that 20 minutes does turn into 40 because you've structured it enough. You've plotted the support, the scaffolding, that gives you kind of the breathing room to do things that you want to do, ambitious things outside of the home. Instead of homemaking, you've got your business building, right? This is two things that really require a lot of bandwidth to make sure that you're doing what's productive and not what's unproductive. You want to make sure that you're also allowing for rest. Those 20 minutes can't be the only free minutes in your day because the first thing is rest. So hopefully you've given yourself, before those 20 minutes for work, first 20 minutes of rest, right? In equal measure. We're already super out of balance being predominantly and primarily mother, that we, really do want to give ourselves a space to just lay on the bed and not feel bad about it. Lay on the bed, look up at the ceiling, and just completely zone out. Think about whatever you want. That is so important. That is centering. That is coming back to mindfulness. And that's not to say that you weren't being mindful with your babies, you weren't being present with your babies or with the task at hand, like dishes and laundry and folding them. I personally find folding laundry a chance to get mindful. And I just look at their clothes and I take it in this moment in time when they actually fit these small, tiny clothes. And I probably swoon at least once every laundry pile for them. And I had a nanny before who did that, and I was fine with it. I did not need to fold laundry. I'm good. But in in the instance where I am folding laundry again, then I am very into it. Now, I don't like to do laundry all the time. So see how when I do it, which I really maybe do a load a week. So it's not every day. So it's not anything I have to like tax myself with, but I definitely am, pushing it off. I don't want to do laundry all the time. So okay, we know that. I don't want to do dishes really ever again in my life. That's a fact. I would love to hire those things out. But this is where we just like tap into those moments where we get mindful. We get present again. Hi, I see you. And um, I don't know. You just kind of want to be with that flow. And I think as parents, we get plenty of time to do that, to be with the flow, but we can stifle it. We can hold it up. We can kind of say, um, I have other more important things to do. The question I like to ask myself in every moment is this where I am needed most? Because that's going to help you determine where you should be, where your body wants to take you. Not nobody's shitting you. You are kind of like checking yourself. Okay. I really need to sit longer with my babies. So I can't email, I can't send out that email right now. And that's okay. That might feel really heavy and a lot of pressure on somebody who's very type A and driven and wants to make things happen faster than they are. And so they hustle, hustle, hustle. They do. And it's in the doing that I have got to keep up with some other pace I didn't even set for myself. At some point, somebody told me I had to go this speed. And then it caught up to me. I'm tired. I get burnt out. I don't want to do it like this anymore, and nothing's inspired, nothing's flowing freely. I don't feel creative. I feel stuck and stifled actually, in that burnout mode. And too often we're doing too much as moms. And then we hit burnout. For me, I probably would say I need a good rest or a good walk every 3 days. I can keep my cool, my composure, and be present and just like have all the compassion in the world for my babies. It goes, definitely gets stretched thin. Don't get me wrong, it definitely gets stretched thin. But what I do is I know that the more I practice being that present and available and you know what, I just accepting of the fact that I'm going to put them first, I'm going to choose them first, and so just be with it, accept it. And then at the same time I'm coming into the identity of seeing myself as that present mother, that I'm not going to regret these years of my investment in my babies. I'm just not. I just can't ever see it. I can't fathom putting in the time that right now maternally, instinctually, I'm being led to act and respond and behave. um, I won't regret it. When you are tapped in, tuned on to who you want to be and how you want to show up, and you know that in the end, at when you've made it, you want to still feel that way, then you know there's that alignment. So there's no question. You won't regret it. In fact, when you get there, you're going to recognize, oh, okay, well, I was her all along, first of all. Second of all, I see why I needed that. I needed that challenge. I needed to get through it in this way, and I saw my way through it first, and then I made the way through it. You always see it before you can be it, before you can do it, right? You see it in the mind's eye. Um, we can talk deja vu all day long, predicting dreams, but okay, let's not go there. Um, how do I get back on track here? Uh, I wanted to go somewhere with. with what's in the way of the mom businesses and making money. The minute we kind of step into the woman who runs a business like you want to run the business. So if you don't want to work Saturday and Sunday, start now, not working Saturday and Sunday. Build it into the forward momentum, the projection of the energy as you want it to be. Don't wait for the day when you take off Saturday and Sunday when you're making so XY money. No, do it now, because when the money comes, and it is a matter of when, not if, when, because you're sticking with this, right? It's going to eat you up at night if you don't build this business. You're going to like die of heartbreak if you don't build this business, if you don't even give yourself a chance to build a business, right? That you want for yourself, that you see yourself, that you're so passionate, this is the meaning of your life, the purpose is just driving you forward, your soul is calling you in this direction, just go. That is the type of woman you are. And so that's going to always be there, but you still are this very responsible, very, devoted, obsessed mom. Then, you find the balance, because you're going to make it either way. So you're sticking to it, and you make a way. You see yourself how you want to be in the future, right? In this perfect, ideal place of having your business, making 6-7 figures a month. And you see yourself in this place, and you're like, okay, who is she? Who is she making that kind of money, and how is she showing up? Okay, I see that. I feel that. I feel it in my heart, right? I feel it in my body. That's important. Brain, body, mind, soul, everything has to feel this and be on one accord. We're going to make this happen. This is plan A. There is no plan B. So you're going in that direction. And that's why I say it's a matter of when. So you're moving in that direction. You're already not working Saturday, Sunday. Maybe you don't know how much time per week you want to give something, or you want to give this business right now. So you just start moving. Taking inspired action, getting clear on what the most important thing your business needs from you right now. That single most important thing, your MIT. You want to get clear on that, and then you do it in those 20 minutes. Okay. So now we know what we're doing in the 20 minutes. And then as we build the structure, the scaffolding of our day, and we put the supports in place, right, at the times we need them, and in the measure we need them, then everything's set up for us to do what we need to do. And what's our contingency plan? What does it mean if, baby's home sick and I can't take my calls? What do you do? I mean, how is your structure, your support, your scaffolding built in to handle those circumstances? I think, no, I know motherhood is unpredictable, and we don't know what is going to happen from one day to the next. So we just got to be ready. And it comes with time, right? Slowly build this. Don't build it on your muscle and your labor. Build it on your thought and your design. You being intentional about how you go about every day is what designs your life. If you are just flying by the seat of your pants, you're barely surviving, you're just like, okay, I don't know, one day to the next, it's like, oh, whatever happens, I'll just be ready, because I'm going to preserve my energy for every distraction ever. And so that's hectic. That's manic, because you're just like accepting what happens, what your residual rockets of desire launched, and now you're just being tousled in the sea, because you just really haven't set a course of action for yourself. You don't know, like you haven't set the steering wheel in the direction of North Star and like we're going. So you're just kind of being tousled, and then that's going to happen. The waves are going to happen, the obstacles, the contrast to tell you or to confirm with you, like, is this what you want or this? Which one? Okay. And it's always a which one game. which one? Which direction? You're at a fork in the road constantly. Making a decision, just make the decision. The thing is about storms, like If you can set your course back after the storm, you've been thrown around, you bring it back and you still go toward North Star, then you haven't really lost much, right? Maybe a few days just being like rerouted, detouring, and then getting right back on track. But imagine if you never noticed you were on a detour, never noticed that you were full on distracted, never noticed that you were suffering through depression, grief, shame, isolation, and you were just still going. And then you just kind of keep going. And so you're further lost. You're just further losing yourself because you never tapped in to what's true about you, your center, your home, and said, okay, okay, let me recalibrate. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, I'm here. And then, oh, be grateful for here. Be grateful for here. How amazing does it feel to be like thrown about and you're like, oh wait, there I'm anchored. So I didn't go far. I dropped my anchor. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but let's say your canoe tied to a tether and or tethered to a pole, and you and then the waves come, but you're still tethered to the dock. And so after that storm, you might be tipped over, thrown around, but you are still where you are. That's worth some gratitude, right? Okay, So and I'm grateful for being here. I'm grateful for this rope that kept me close to home, so that I didn't stray too far. But you know, um, I do recognize maybe the pain of kind of finding myself lost for a little bit, and that's depth. Coming out from being feeling lost is presence, and the minute you feel present, you feel alive because there is no other feeling in presence but alive and aware, right? Aware of your surroundings, just aware of your body and where you're taking up space in this world, in this dimension, and that's lovely, right? Okay, so that's lovely. We're grateful there, but imagine you don't recenter and you're just full on lost. Every new step of the way is lost because you didn't intend yourself here. So I'm lost. So I'm further depressed. I'm further lost. I'm further um away from the North Star because I just kept going. And that 3 degrees off from your distance builds and builds and builds and builds till you like are full on like way off track for what your intention was. And so it might feel like, oh, I can't predict my future at this point because what did I don't know, it's not Joe Dispenza, but I think I credit him only because I saw that it was written by him. Not initially, he might have been quoting, or I heard him say it. But a lot of times people will say things enough and give credit. When you've been doing it for as long as Joe Dispenza has been doing it, you probably leave off the credit because at some point you've credited this author, this thought leader, this genius, this guru. You've credited them. So I think I'm not sure that I think it was him. It was probably like Neville Goddard or Wallace D. Wattles who said something like that, where if you want to predict the future, create it. So create your future. If you want to predict it, create it. That is all about intention. That is lining up mind and body, spirit and soul. That's lining up everything and saying we're all on one accord. We're all fully aligned. We know the intention is that way, and we see it, and I feel it. My heart is connected to it. My brain is pulsing with ideas around it, and making sure the body is all everybody good. Okay, all right, let's go. And anyway, so much to be said about presence and why it's so important. And I don't even know what was I even saying about that. Hmm. Anyway, let's rewind. Anyway, sorry. I was off on a tangent anyway. So we were talking about mom businesses. I think we don't come back to center enough, right? And because we maybe don't see the value of giving into rest. We don't see the value of shutting off our minds and placing that as a priority as well as taking care of baby. Like, eventually in equal measure, but probably not for a while. Uh, it's going to feel off. So those few times that you can nap when the baby naps, you can eat when baby eats, or I don't know if you're eating while nursing or how that's going. Probably not easy because I don't think I've ever really eaten when I nursed. So, okay. So something, right? Maybe baby goes down for the second nap of the day and you don't need a nap and then you can get a meal. So these are kind of like at sometimes you don't take the meal, you get in the shower, because you just want to feel clean after days of not showering or whatever. Or you want to get a workout in. You just want to recognize what the state of your being is. If it's frantic and manic, and yeah, working out for sure would help, maybe give you a second wind. And then also, what if like laying down and closing your eyes also was something, or meditating, closing your eyes and breathing, just breathing. Don't call it meditation, just sit and breathe. If the word meditation is throwing you off from meditation, call it sitting and breathing. I'm gonna just sit and breathe. That's all I want to do right now. And maybe that's what you needed, right? Because you were go, 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 or maybe not. Maybe after nursing, you really settled your heart, your spirit. You weren't scrolling, and you were very present with baby and nursing. You probably got your center and your calm. And then you can put baby down to nap, and then yeah, go work out, go for a jog, go for a brisk walk or whatever. Get outside, if that's what you need. Just, you do want to take that moment to transition from one to the other. That is, I think, another part of the key. Not only do we have to have the identity of our business is making money, we have to have the identity like, I will make money in this business, and it's just a matter of time. And I'm going to just make sure that I'm being productive in my business when I have time, and I'm just using my time wisely, and I am resting, and I am spending time daydreaming about what this business is going to become and talking to people about it. Okay. So all things that warrant time in your day, maybe not every day, but, consistently. And then whatever, outreach and content that you're putting out, that's all kind of part of everything, all of this. And so we know that's important. And then there's also, and then knowing our MIT, and then there's also the transition. So going from mom to entrepreneur and entrepreneur back to mom, you don't want to be a stressed out entrepreneur raising your kids. You also don't want to be a stressed out mom talking to your clients or engaging with your audience, or, mingling in your community. You don't want to be that, right? You want to be across the board effortless. And so we've got to intend our way there. We've got to see it, know we can have it, believe it true. And so it will be true. The transition allows for us to connect back into our intention for the role. So if I'm coming out from being a mother and I'm now a wife, then I want to recognize that I was with my kids and giving them the best of me. And now I know they're good to go. Maybe they're with someone else being babysat, or they are eating dinner, or I don't know, because I want to eat dinner with them, eating a meal, or they're just watching a movie and they're perfectly fine, content. And then I'm transitioning to be wife. That takes some intentional transitioning. Like I have to kind of say, okay, I came from that feels good, I was where I needed to be. Now I'm moving into wife, and here and how I want to show up as wife is this. I don't want to bring my baggage over into this role, because this is how we start to cross contaminate and really destroy our relationships, because we're mad over here in the marriage department and we're taking it out on our kids, or vice versa. We're angry and upset about the kids. We're not getting the support we want. We are disgruntled about how much is on our shoulders, our mental load, and it's all relying on me because I set it up like that. So I have nobody to blame but myself, because I think if it's got to be done right, it's got to be me. And so I have to do it all. And then I don't let him do anything. But when I'm burned out from being a mom and unable to do anything else, and you're demanding stuff from me because I didn't allow space to be that, I'm now mad. I'm throwing my baggage on you. I'm spitting, I'm spewing all that I've been thinking that's been keeping me unpresent with my kids. and just getting further in my temper, that the next person who wants anything from me gets blasted. And why why is that cool? Like, at what point was that the life we signed up for? Like, we want a happy marriage. We want a happy, loving, trusted bond with our kids. We want to enjoy our work. We want to like talk to our clients and just be completely in awe of them and feel like you are doing the work you were born to do every day. That's right. And so any measure or degree off from center that you are in any way, shape, or form, in any relationship, in any vertical in your life, that is a sign that you have strayed from your intention. Simple as that. Or you're so lost because you're drifting at this point in the wrong direction, and by wrong, I mean for you, what you want, how you intended, how you destined your life to be given what God has given you, the resources, tools, all of those are just kind of bumpers along the road to put you back. Hey, no, look, remember you're passionate about this. Wait, hold on. Stay right here. Stay right here. Just keeping you from the gutter, keeping you in your lane so that you can make a strike. You can hit all the pins and just knock them down and be like, yes, lovely. This is great. This is amazing. So that is your intention. That's what you're setting yourself up for. If you're not doing that inner work, then you're setting yourself up to not have anything look the way that you thought. And you wake up one morning, you're like, what is happening? This is my life. No, thank you. And then I don't know what to do about it because I feel stuck, and uh, I'm I don't know how to undo what I did. I set myself up for this. These are the choices I made for myself. So I just have to make my bed and lie in it. It's my fault. And so staying in that judgment, that place of pressure, like, oh, look how much I'm holding the top down on myself. I'm keeping the heat in one place, and I'm saying, oh, I'm not gonna let you out. You just got to deal with it. You make your bed and you lie in it. Nope, nope, nope. You got to reap the consequences. No, no, no. You're not getting out. You're not getting out easy. You're not getting off easy on this one. How we talk to ourselves is how we usually parent. So check your self-talk, because you are also creating the self-talk of your kids. Okay, just throwing that out there. But okay, so I keep throwing out my little, I got to say this before I move on, and then I throw myself off of what I was saying. Yvette, you did it again. You did it again. I think because I'm at the wrong, I haven't even looked at my notes once. Am I even answering the question that we had at the beginning? And we're almost to time. I didn't look at my notes. I haven't been keeping myself on track. I've just been flowing in the spirit and wanting to make sure that I impart to you the things that are very important. And one thing, so if you're feeling that way, you're waking up and you're like, oh, I'm stuck, and how do I undo this? You're holding the lid down on yourself. You're keeping the pressure high, the heat high, and you're, of course, going to explode one day. And then you do it all over again. You tap the lid and you're just like, no, you're not getting out again. You're not getting out of this. Instead of like coming at it with compassion and clarity and saying, actually, you don't have to keep living like this. And you have to tell yourself, I know I don't have to keep living like this. I know there's otherwise for me. I know there's more for me in my life and my sanity. I know there's more fulfillment to be felt every single day of my life. So how am I going to get there? Okay. So one way is to work with me in the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms, because we work on clarity, getting clarity, not only on our MIT, absolutely, but on our motherhood, right? And every relationship there in our marriage. And this isn't, this is, I'm not claiming this is life coaching, but there is a 360-degree clarity that you get from working with me, because that's my intention for you. And so I'm always going to be driving in the direction of seeing the bigger picture and holding you in the place that you want to go. I already see you and the vision. Tell me what your vision is. Boom, you're there. No qualms. I've got no qualms because I don't carry baggage that you carry, right? And so we are, yeah, we are in a session, a clarity session when we work together, because I want you to come away with not only a successful, sustainable, beautiful, thriving business. Yes, we're that too, for sure, absolutely. But you know how you are balancing it all. There's a lot of women entrepreneurs, a lot of mom entrepreneurs who are successful, wildly successful in their business, that have a lot of regrets about how they did their motherhood, and how they might have neglected what came instinctually to them, because maybe they felt like they were between a rock and a hard place when they made that decision, and they just kept going with it. And so they kept themselves in the rock and the hard place, between the rock and the hard place. They never set themselves free. And there's always a childhood for in a parent child relationship. There is always a child in that parent child relationship. You parenting your child in a way that you wish you did back when they were kids is still part of their upbringing. At any point, you can apologize for what you think you might have done, or what you don't think you did, but they think you did, and apologize in a way that feels substantial to you. And, you know, ultimately it will feel substantial to them when it first feels substantial to you, the asking for forgiveness, because you would first have to forgive yourself, right? And so if you think that somebody needs to forgive you, then you first have to forgive yourself, because nobody's going to ask from you something that you aren't capable of giving, because somehow in your story you have painted this picture. You've got all the things that you painted this picture for yourself. Though this is what you've manifested into your life, and these are the relationships and how they've resulted, what they've resulted, and how you've let them run the relationships, how you let them be. Um, and if you've not pulled the reins back in, or you've not like, I think that's a bad analogy. If you've not kind of brought yourself back to your intention, and brought yourself right to the tether, like, okay, okay, oh, I'm fine. Here I am. I recognize where I might have strayed and caused you some pain and did some damage to your heart. And I'm your mother, the place where it should have felt very safe and free to be you. And somehow, like, I pulled the rug out from under you and I made you feel unsafe. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Um, I think in that place, I felt like I felt insecure about my motherhood journey. I felt insecure in what you needed from me. I felt like I wasn't able to provide it, and I took it out on you. My own judgment, my own self-judgment. That feels substantial to me, saying that. And like I'm projecting myself into some imagined future, because I also intend that I won't get to a place where I'm too much tumultuous in relationship with my boys, my sons. I don't, that it's like my guiding light is that, we're just going to make sure that we are bonded, and I'm listening to you, and you trust me, and and I can trust you, because my intention is to give you the trust you, um, and give you the reason to trust me, because then I know that I'm moving in the direction of my vision, that we have a trusted, solid relationship throughout our entire lives, and you know that I'm here for you. That's my intention, and I'll say it constantly, because at the end of the day, I just have to check in with that vision. Am I on track? Have I strayed? Am I being rocked by all the waves and all the other competing things for my attention? Or am I coming back to center, my anchor? Am I present with where I am in the direction of my North Star? That is what us moms need to do, for both. We need to be present and available for what calls to us as both mother and entrepreneur. And if you want that clarity, we can definitely work together inside the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms. And I'll put the link below. There are a couple things. Okay, no, we'll just keep it clean. You can apply to have a consult with me, and you get to walk away with all the clarity that you came for in those 25 minutes with me, and walk away, and we don't ever have to speak again. If you don't want to, but you will walk away with some clarity. And that is what I intend for every call. And so that's where we're headed. And then if you want to get more, that 360-degree life clarity, then we need more time. And so, how my schedule is right now, you get the most time with me inside the mastermind. So, and right now I've limited it to entrepreneur moms only because this is where I want to, other than my babies, my boys, this is where I want to put my time, is making sure that the mothers of the world are feeling the support they haven't felt in a very long time. And I remember doing some interviews back. So if you've interviewed with me, thank you. Some surveying of my audience. And I was asking some questions about their motherhood journey. And a lot of times you feel like, oh, I need to manage my time better. So that again puts the onus on your physical labor, your habits. But habits don't change unless you first have a reframe around the cause and effect, the reframe and the reprogramming, the reconditioning of what you think is the cause of the effect of a habit that you might want to break and bring in some new healthy ones. It first takes a mindset to change the habit. So you can't change your behavior unless you first change the belief. Uh, and I say that because in these mom interviews, they think that it's time management, but it's so much deeper. Time management is honestly another, just a mindset thing. It's just a perspective on, it's just the distance between your belief and the doubt, how you doubt what you believe, or you are doubting, you're second guessing yourself, you're questioning maybe what you've believed and you want to start thinking something new. We're constantly doing that, constantly, um, you know, maybe reckoning with a belief, and we either keep going and stay in that cycle that that belief and that behavior begets, or we kind of break the cycle and kind of start on a new belief behavior cycle. And then we kind of test that, and does it feel good? Okay, then you change accordingly. So we're just challenging some of our beliefs, so that we can get into a better place, a place that feels better, a place that feels good if you haven't been feeling good for a long time. And that is, I think, a big way that I got out of my postpartum depression, challenging a lot of beliefs, especially about motherhood. And I think we get in these cycles of our motherhood journey that have been going on for millennia, for generations, through the lineage, right, of our ancestry. We've kind of carried forward what cycles haven't been broken. Or we're reviving anew cycles that were broken that you want back, right? The things of yesteryear, how it felt, how it might have felt, or how you think it might have felt to be in the villages, with only so few families, and these were your people, this was your community, and you shared services and provision. You ate off the land, and you gathered at one dining table, all seven households, and you're sitting and sharing a meal, and then you go your separate ways, and sleep and bond as a family. Then you come back together even more girded up in strength and bounty, right? And it's just enough. And that kind of like easy, good old day kind of thing, maybe that's what you want back, right? You want less of the city life you grew up in, and now you want the country life. You want country living, and you want to be on a homestead, and you want to ferment and jar your own stuff. This is everyone, it teaches own, right? And regardless of how long a cycle's been going on or brewing, it's irrelevant. It just is in this lifetime that you kind of want to get over it, right? What maybe is holding you back. And so that's a cycle to break, is just in the progressing toward my goals. How might I be stifling myself or sabotaging myself or holding myself back? How am I limiting my forward momentum because of what I believe? And so then we challenge our um, our beliefs. Okay, so I recognize the time, so I'll go ahead and get off, and see you guys next time. I'll put all the links, everything I talked about, in the description below. If you have questions, DM, comment, whatever, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for coming on live, everyone. And I think I will have to answer the question I didn't get to next week. And we'll just let this live how it came out. We're just going to let it live and be okay with what came up and the questions that were answered for you. Always my intention for these clarity hotlines is that you get an answer by the end of our time together. So hope you did. If you didn't, ask the question at clarityhotline.com for next week and I'll answer it then. Okay. Peace. Bye, Instagram. Okay, so we are off on Instagram. And anyway, thanks for coming on. And if there's any questions, same thing for everybody, just drop a comment, message me. You know the drill. I'll see you next week for the Clarity Hotline, 12 noon Pacific. If you're interested about applying for the Mastermind for Entrepreneur Moms, I'll put the link below. And yeah, see you next time. Peace.